Okay, hi guys. So we are cooking with rhubarb today. One of our pies is going to be a strawberry rhubarb pie, and the other one's going to be a raspberry pie. These are actually two pies that a friend of mine regularly buys my pies, and she's asked for a red raspberry and she's asked for a strawberry rhubarb. So that's what we're making today. So she's, Jasmine, if you're watching, guess what? You get to see your pies being made live, so you know what's gone into them. Ooh. Anyways, so the first one, I'm going to put the camera down so you can see what I'm doing down here. The first one I'm going to prep, but we're not going to finish because it has to sit for a while. This is, I've done most of the cutting. You can see the strawberries are in there. There's 2 cups of strawberries already cut in there. And in here is rhubarb, and I just wanted to take a minute to show you rhubarb. A lot of people don't know how to use it or what it looks like. If it's red like this, then it is a strawberry rhubarb plant. If it's just all green without that red on it, it's just a regular rhubarb plant. There's no big deal between the difference except that I personally feel that the strawberry rhubarb is sweeter and therefore makes a sweeter pie. Other people may have a different kind of opinion or preference, but that's my opinion. So I'm just throwing it out there that that's what I'm saying. So here is a piece of rhubarb. I have a whole bag of it, as a matter of fact, and they come in various sizes. And so I just knocked a bunch of stuff over here for a second, but I'm gonna go grab it. But you have to take them, and you have to, of course, live video. If I drop something on the floor, I have to go get it now, of course. You have to, you cut it down by the root because you want it to grow up more. And so here's just a piece of what's left over from all I've been cutting. Now, when you're doing a rhubarb pie with strawberry, you are cutting them in smaller pieces because you don't want them to overwhelm the strawberry. If you're doing a rhubarb pie on its own, you can just go chop, 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 chop down here. It's no big deal how big it is. But when it's chopped up for a strawberry rhubarb, and did you see how I just took it and peeled it back? If when you're cutting that peel comes off, go ahead, keep taking it off. But when you're doing it with a strawberry rhubarb pie, they need to be about 1/4 of an inch long. If you're doing a regular rhubarb pie without any strawberries, and just going down through it like this is fine. See how I'm doing it? And, you know, if this keeps peeling off like this, just peel it off and throw it off to the side. And that's how easy it is to cut up rhubarb. The longest and most intensive labor part of this pie is actually cutting all of the rhubarb and the strawberry. So here is my wonderful bowl full of strawberry and rhubarb. And what I need to add to that is 1 1/4 cup of sugar. And if I was making just a rhubarb pie, I would be adding flour at this time. But I'm making strawberry rhubarb, so instead of flour, because of the strawberry component, you need it to gel a little bit, I use tapioca. It actually calls for tapioca. It's not like I had the brilliance of coming up with that one. It's in the recipe. And you need 3 tablespoons of tapioca. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now yesterday, Mary Hislop Bryce was talking about how she made this very pie yesterday, and she used the very cookbook that I use because she's got the same one. So I'll show it again because you've seen it so many times. Yes, it's the Better Homes and Gardens. It was a wedding present many years ago. And she mentioned, oh, and that 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg makes such a little difference. So we don't want to forget the 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. You don't use nutmeg if you're making a rhubarb pie alone, but you sure do when you're doing strawberry rhubarb, and there you go. So that's all there is to that for right now. What we do is we, oh, I thought I had a spatula. Let me go grab one. Is we take this. I'm sorry for leaving the frame for a minute. That's what happens when you're alone. We take this and we're going to stir it up, mix it up really good. See, you can see the tapioca in here. You can see the sugar. Again, if it's just a regular rhubarb pie, it's just flour, sugar, and rhubarb. The one thing that's missing from here, you'll see when we're putting it in the pie plate, is that you're going to dot it. They say dot it, or you're going to add butter to it afterwards on the top. I always put a few pads on the top of it. So what we have to do is really stir this up good till it's good and combined well. And then I'm going to go put a timer on because the tapioca has to do its magic. We have to let it set for 15 minutes. So I'm going to take this over to another shelf for now. I'm going to put a timer on for 15 minutes. Okay, so now we're coming back. That's my board getting ready to do I've already made the bottom parts of the pie crust because I just wanted to save a little bit of time, because I've been noticing while transferring my videos over into YouTube that some of them can be kind of long, and I don't want you guys to be like, oh my god, I have to watch a video all day. So I try to do as much prep ahead of time as I can. The next pie we are making is a raspberry pie. Yay, everyone loves raspberry pie, right? And this is a simple pie as well. This one's going to be a little bit smaller. This one will be like the 9-inch one. And the rhubarb one's going to be a good healthy 10, 11 inches. So it's going to be a big one. And for the raspberry pie, I had everything out here somewhere. Oh, it's over here. I had my 1 cup. We'll go down into the bowl here for a minute. 1 cup of sugar. Boom. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And here's our cornstarch. Remember, we've been using this for quite a while on different recipes. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. There we go. And as you can see, it's a 2 tablespoon thing. That's why I'm only going once with it. And a dash of salt. For this one, you need, I don't know where my salt shaker went. I had it right here in front when I was dashing salt on something else. Well, I'll go get a salt shaker from over here. Dash of salt. I do a pinch, a dash, or whatever. That's about good enough right there. Okay, and then we're going to stir this up and get ready to put it into our pie pan. So here we go. And this is really simple. I mean, you know, the hardest part is taking the time to pick the raspberries. They start getting a little bit mushy here. I'm mushing them up accidentally. Don't really mean to, but it's happening. Raspberries are very delicate, so yeah. There you go. They're all together. So now we're going to make the bottom part of the crust. So here we go. Can you see on my table here? Let me push it back a little more here so you can get to the center and see where I'm going. There you are. Here I am in the center. Okay. Actually, I can actually put it in the pie that I've started. Actually, I can get going on that. Can you see there? We can take our raspberry filling and put it in our pie shell already. Doesn't that look pretty? This doesn't have to wait or anything. The cornstarch doesn't need to be activated like the tapioca does. So this can go right on in. As we all know what the cornstarch does, because we use it in many of our gravies and this is and that's that we've been doing. We know that that says a leavening, so it's going to give it some sort of texture and hold the raspberry together a little bit better. There you go. Isn't that pretty? We don't want to forget before we go any further. Find my butter here. I had a whole stick of butter out somewhere, but I can't remember where I lost that too, so I'll grab another one out of the fridge. Here we go. We want to dab some butter on the top of it. I hope you can still see here. Yep, you can. Move that back. Here we are. So I just want to put butter dabs here and there. There we go. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this pretty? Yeah. In the end, you want to use about 2 tablespoons of butter. You can see I'm doing them very thin so I can get up to 2 tablespoons. I'm just kind of dabbing them here and there. That's about 2 tablespoons right there. I'll add a little bit more. And there you go. So now we're going to put this aside for a moment. Ooh, it's kind of full. Because we're going to make our other crust. So here is our bowl with our other crust. Getting ready. Before, like I told you, before I got going, I did the first double batch. It's a regular batch of pie crust, but I put the bottoms on each of them. So I'm making another recipe of pie crust to now make the tops of both the pies. So as you know, if you've watched any of my other ones, my pie crust is 2 cups of flour, 2/3 cup of shortening, a pinch of salt, and milk, about a cup. As you can see, I cut it with this like I did before so that it's easy to use it to stir and everything with now. It blends better, stirs better, it blends better. So, and remember, we don't play with pie crust a lot. It's not like bread. This is the situation where the less messing about, the better. I'm hoping that you're still seeing that when you peek. Yep, you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so here's our, I just put the milk in there. I think I'm going to need the whole cup. I used the whole cup in last one too, so we'll see. Just want to get all that dryness off the bottom. See how you still have some dry stuff floating around there? I want to make it where there are like two good types of patties, as you can see. Okay, so I'm going to turn it out on the board and I'm going to break it up into two. Half of it back in this bowl in a second as soon as I've got it broken up into two. One pie is a little bit bigger than the other, so I'm going to make this not exactly equal to two because one pie is substantially bigger than the other. So here we go. I just want to get some flour on it so it doesn't stick right now. Check them out side by side. There, this one's a little bit bigger, which I want it to be. All right, so I'll put this one back in there because that's going to be for the rhubarb. It is a bigger pie. And here we go for the raspberry. Now, let's see if I can pull you ahead a little bit so you can see a little bit better. I'll move you around. There we are. It's hard to tell what you can see and what you can't see from there. There you go. Okay, so here we go. Again, we're just going to do as we did before. I did this while you weren't here, but I'm going to just keep going kind of around and around. Take your pan, push it over the top to see if it's quite big enough yet. And it looks like it's pretty close, but I'm going to go to this edge a little bit more and this edge a little bit more. Yep, that should work. All right. There we go. There. And here we are. Now, we pinch the edges together. First of all, this has a lot of extra to it, so I'm going to kind of trim. I haven't trimmed them before because I haven't used the small pan very much. I've been using the bigger ones these whole times. I don't want all this extra on here right now, so I'm going to trim them so that if you can see what I'm doing here, I'm trimming it so that they come together more unison. So you don't want to have all this, a whole bunch of pie crust sitting on top of there, and then you have this annoying amount of pie crust on the top. And then this little pie underneath it. So you're trying to make it uniform. And as you're going around, if you can see what I'm doing, I hope you can. You can see that I'm fluting them together. See how I'm pulling up the bottom into the top? Pulling up the bottom, turning it over. See my, can you see what my fingers are doing? I hope you can. See how I'm flipping it, flipping the bottom. Whoops, that's got a little extra there, so we're going to take some of that off. And we're going to flute it up, pull the bottom into the top, pull the bottom into the top. Keep going. Whoops, got a little extra there as well. Trying to make it a pretty pie, a uniform pie, where it's kind of pretty yet sealed, because you don't want it to get all over your oven. You don't want it to come out the edges. You don't want it to come out and get all over your bottom of your, oh God, that's such a cleanup. Pies and stuff off of your oven are such a terrible cleanup. And then we're gonna, this is the one we're gonna do this way today. So again, it's just the pinching your nose system. That's what I call it, the pinching my nose. Can you see how I'm doing that? See how it's going? There you go. Yep. I'm just going to quickly go around it. Now these pies are both going to bake in a 375 oven. One of them bakes for, and let me go just grab that direction for a second so I remember. The fresh raspberry pie is going to, the raspberry pie is going to bake in 375 for 20 minutes, and I'm going to show you when they say, I'm going to put some, well, I got something to put around on here because you're going to cover this crust where the design is for the first 20 minutes, and then you're going to take it off and cook it for another 20 minutes. Same with the rhubarb pie, only I think it's 30 and 30. It's 25 and 25, so it's about the same. So what I mean by that is this is what's going to happen. Here, let me put this down here where you can see it again. Oh, my phone is acting finicky. Okay, there we go. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. I kind of pulled you off. Hang on. Gosh, where's Tim when I need him? I don't want to stop the video in the middle because then I'll have to try to put it together, and I don't know how to do that. So, all right. So what I mean by that is that I'm going to do this. Tinfoil works perfectly fine, but I happened to years ago buy these things you can just sit over the top like this, literally. Sit over the top of your pie. You're going to cover your decorative part of your pie. This is a really small one. The big one takes 4 quite evenly, but I still need to cover all of it. And before I go any farther, I want to flute the top. Flute the top means I want to stick some holes in it. And then we're done. We're done with this pie. So this is going to go over to the oven right now. And I'll be right back. And that's exactly what's going to happen to the rhubarb in a couple of minutes. We've got 3 minutes and 37 seconds left. Let me see if I can get this together here and get this crust rolled out quickly before the timer goes off. Just a minute, I'll put you back down there. These pies are both really easy. They're good flavors. They're both very sweet and fun pies to have and eat, and so seasonal. Pretty soon you'll be able to pick your own strawberries, which is going to be fantastic. Okay, so here's this other one. I'm not going to put it on yet because of course we haven't filled our pie yet. We will in a minute. But I thought I'd roll it out at least so we could have it that part done, because we've only got, on the timer we've got 2 minutes and change. So here we go. There. Remember, we play very little with our pie crust. Yeah, we should make bread sometime together. Bread's different. Bread, you really want to work it. You really want, for all you're worth, to be able to spend time with it, to get it light, but not pie crust. The more you play with it, the harder it gets. So that's about right. I'm going to take some off of here and put it here and patch that spot, though. I do not like the look of that spot. As a matter of fact, I can use some from the other one. Right there. I don't like the look of that spot at all. But I want it to be pretty because it is the cover, not the bottom. There. It's kind of like playing with Play-Doh a little bit. There you go. Okay. So I'm waiting. I'm just going to put this on top of here. I'm waiting for the timer to go off. We have another minute and a half. Again, so you know that the only thing left to be done here is the same as we did with the raspberry pie. We're going to put the filling in here, and we are going to dab some butter on top. Okay, this just has another minute 19. So I'm going to put it in here, but it's not going to be baked for a while, so I'm not having a problem with having it go down in here already. So there you are. Isn't that beautiful? Look at how gorgeous that is. Look at that. Look at the color. There we go. Oh. Cooking is so much fun, isn't it? Just creating. I've been part of Victoria's bridal shower. She's been doing it all weekend. I guess she's doing it all week, I think. And it's been so much fun. Victoria Kane. It's been so much fun because she's been asking like for advice, for like as if you would for a wedding shower if you got to go to the party yourself. They've been having all kinds of fun games, and some of it was advice would you give them in the kitchen, and it's been fun to think about, hey, what advice would I give somebody? I mean, she's just starting out as marriage, but I mean, she knows how to cook. She's been cooking for years, and I understand she's quite good at it. So, and her party's been all pampered chef, and so that's been inspiring a lot of cooking conversation. So there's your 2 tablespoons of butter. As you can hear, our timer just went off. So there. So there you are. So now I'm just going to move this off to the side for a second because I'm going to put the top on it. And that is really all that's left. You don't need to see me roll one more out and put another top on. Basically, it's exactly the same as I just did with the raspberry pie. I'm going to put the top on. I'm going to go around the edges again. I'm going to flute, do the design. And I'm going to get the holes done in it, so the steam holes. And then I'm going to put it in the oven. And they both bake at 375. One is 20 minutes. Take off the tin foil if you're using tin foil. If not, these are handy dandy little things that I bought years ago, and I've been using them over and over again, and I love them. And these are perfect for a pie of this size, 4 of them. They just have to pile them on a little more for a pie that's smaller. So I'm going to quickly finish up what I've got doing here. I got quite a little mess going on, but that's okay. I don't want you to have to stop and watch me put another top on another pie. But one cooks for 20 minutes, then you take, the raspberry cooks for 20 minutes and you take the tin foil cover off, and then you bake it for another 20 minutes, and the strawberry rhubarb bakes for 25 minutes, you take the tin foil off, and bake it for another 25 minutes. And they're both really super yummy pies. So when I started talking about rhubarb this week, people started saying, hey, rhubarb jam, strawberry rhubarb jam, that'd be great. Any rhubarb recipes, a rhubarb cobbler, I heard, a rhubarb cobbler. I don't have a rhubarb cobbler recipe, but if you don't want to make a video yourself, or if you want your video featured, your recipe featured on a video, then just send it to me and I will make your recipe, because you know how I always tell where all my recipes come from. Some of them are mine, some of them are from books, some of them are from friends, so it's hard to say where they come from. But I'm going to finish up my pie now because my oven's nagging me to turn the timer off and play with it, have fun. But if you have any rhubarb recipes you'd like to see done here and then put on Facebook, let me know and I'll do it. Bye.